Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Food, Wine, and Travel Show, where we go across country and travel the world with members of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. Let's go. Welcome, everyone. You know, every second Friday, we get to hang out with travel writers who are part of the International Food, Wine, and Travel Writers Association. Today, we have Kathleen Walls on the show, and you can keep up with her at AmericanRoads.net. And she's going to talk about Wytheville, which I wanted to say Wytheville, but apparently not. It's Wytheville in Virginia. And I think this is going to be the only Wytheville I've ever heard of or know about, but it's Wytheville. So you can also go to visitwytheville.com to learn more. But she's got an awesome story talking about the natural beauty, the history. There's wildlife. She likes that. Amazing women's history, really incredible history, outdoor adventure, and a lot of good food and places to stay. So I think Katie had a good time in Wytheville. So welcome back, Katie. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And yes, I had a great time. And yes, it is the only Wytheville in the world. They're very proud of that fact.
Well, hey, I know, it makes sense though, because a lot of
Hmm.
towns have, yeah, duplicates, even,
Right. So many towns.
yeah. So
But
this is its own grandpa.
Wytheville, it is. It's a one and only. And when you get there, it's a small town, Appalachian, right on the
Oh, I
brink of the
love that.
mountains. And it's beautiful, beautiful scenery. And then when you get there, you find the history, the nature, the food. There's just so much there. It's amazing.
So let's start off with where the name Withville came from.
I'm not really sure about where that came from.
Huh.
Um,
Because there's a town founder museum, right?
right.
Uh,
Well, the museum, no, there's quite a few
oh,
museums, but it's not exactly the town founder. And
okay.
it may be at one of the museums, and I could have missed it.
Oh, you
But
know what? I got myself twirled around with the father of Withville, Thomas J. Boyd,
right,
um,
right, that
Thomas
museum is
Jefferson Boyd.
fantastic. Right. His museum, Whitfield being a small town, was still the worst devastated per population when the polio epidemics hit.
Oh,
And one of the big exhibits in there is A Summer Without Children. And it tells the
ew.
story of Whitfield and also some really tremendous exhibits about the
That's a
polio. And
horrible title, but I
it
mean,
is,
it's real. I mean,
yes.
it
It
makes sense,
is,
but it's
but
impactful. It's
right, it
impactful.
tells a
Yeah.
story. And of
Mm,
course, the town was extremely impacted. But the town
mm.
has had, there was a battle there during the Civil War. And in fact, one of the women in Wytheville, whose her father was the um, first doctor in Wytheville. And there's a museum, the Rock House Museum, Hallam Museum, Rock House Hallam Museum is commemorates the father, but it also talks about the descendants, his children. And she saved the building from being burned down. She and a servant working there threw a burning mattress out during the battle to keep
Mm.
it. Otherwise, the building would have been burned down and be lost to history.
Wow. Wow, amazing, man. So there's the polio, yeah, the polio side. I mean, that was before we had vaccines and everything,
Of
but
course, right. And it
you
talks
know,
about the difference, you know, what happened then and all of what could be done, what is being done now and the value of the vaccines. I mean,
wow.
growing up at my age, I knew children, went to school with a young lady who had polio,
Hmm.
and it was so sad. I mean, she was wearing braces and, just
Yeah.
it
It,
was it
it's
was
actually
it was a
it's
real
been
part of life. Younger people today don't realize
yeah, it wasn't
that.
that long ago.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I can remember getting the shot on it.
Hmm.
And believe me,
Yeah, me
nobody
too.
objected at that point because during the summer, my mother wouldn't let me go swimming in public pools and stuff in the middle of the summer because the polio was so rampant.
Mm.
And
I mean, we got measles now, and it's kind of,
right, is well,
isn't that
measles,
weird?
right, there was no vaccine when I was a kid for measles, and I had 'em, and let me tell you, it's not very comfortable, but
Mm-mm.
I lived
Measles
through
is
it.
not fun. I remember there
No,
wasn't there German measles too at one point, German
right.
measles or something. I think that went around when I was a kid, and we were living in, I can't remember if it was Kenya or South Africa where it went around a little bit, but no one, wasn't death. It was,
Right, but it was pretty painful. I mean, any
yeah, not
measles, fever, and
measles. Measles and mumps. Remember mumps? Did
Oh,
people get
yes.
mumps?
My brothers both had them, and neither one of them was in any pain or anything. And I was wishing I'll get the mumps so I could stay home from school.
Oh,
And
I would do
sure enough, I
anything to
did,
stay
and
home
I
from
was
school.
miserable. It's
Oh.
awful. Never wish to get anything.
All right.
But
Well, we're not going to do
getting
any
back
more
to
of the.
Withville, the
Yeah, let's get back to
even
Whitfield and not talk about mumps or measles
right,
anymore.
they're not
Yeah.
very fun. But what I'm going to talk about next, it was a lot of fun, was the Trinkle Mansion bed and breakfast. And
Mm,
aside from being an amazing historic home, it was built for William Trinkle, who was uh, aristocratic farmer in 1912. And it's a classical revival inn. And the neatest thing, Patty and Bernie, and I can't pronounce her last name, Pinchja, are the owners. And Patty is a fantastic cook. I mean, she is a chef. And when you have breakfast there, it's not just, go grab a omelet or something. It is the table is set with crystal and silver. Even my tea, I'm a tea drinker, not a coffee person. And there's a special little tea set that she brings out with a timer and a little hourglass.
oh,
I
wow.
mean, it was a fantastic stay. And the rooms are all done as they would have been back in that era.
Wow.
And of
So
course,
this
the
is like,
go ahead.
yeah, I mean, you're going back, you're sleeping back in time.
Right, and it really gets you set up for the historic part. There's another restaurant in town that we dined at when I was there, and it's called the 1776 Log House 1776, and part of the log house building, the front part, dates back to 1776, and
Mm,
of course the food is they give a nod to historical food, but it's all modern and well prepared. It's beautiful. And in the
mm.
backyard, it's almost like a little mini zoo. And when we went back there, it was so cute. There were these two little rabbits supposed to be in a cage. Well, one of them, I think it was a male rabbit, had gotten out, and he was just nosing all around the outside of it. And it's a great big kind of chicken wire pen. And I guess the female was walking around on the inside next to him, probably saying, "Get your butt back in here." But it was so cute. There's pigeons and stuff, and
Mm. Oh man.
whatever you're looking for is there.
I wanted to go back also in the history. I mean, there's a lot of museums that you went to, and so and everyone, this is in Southwest Virginia, and Virginia is beautiful, and even the summer. I mean, it's just yeah. If you could get out there, go do it. It's just a gorgeous,
Oh
gorgeous
yes,
region. I wanted to talk about Edith Bowling Wilson, her birthplace museum, because this history of this woman, I mean,
it
she's
is
related to
amazing.
Pocahontas. Come
Right,
on, man.
she is,
Wow.
and historians really believe that she was an acting president when she was Woodrow
Hmm.
Wilson's second wife. His first wife, had passed away, and her first husband had passed away, and they were sort of joined together because of that. And uh, when he had a stroke, which was during
Hmm.
World War I, she was the one really advising him what to do and acting as president. And she
Mm,
really made history. She was the first lady to attend a Paris Peace Conference, which was
that's right.
pretty big. I mean, it was very, even today, it's still big. But she was the first lady to officially attend that. And
But, but
her,
it's kind of
her
like Eleanor Roosevelt.
even more so though,
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
because
yeah. But I
yes,
think
because I
Eleanor
mean,
probably
yeah.
learned from her, like,
Oh
hey, I
yes,
can.
she probably did. And she, besides from being related to Pocahontas, she was also related to Thomas Jefferson. So she had
That's
a
a wild
background there.
crossover. That's a
And
wild
she was
crossover.
a cousin of Martha Washington, and she was a cousin of Robert E. Lee. So she had some pretty distinguished ancestors there.
Yeah, but it's like mixed blood there.
Yes, and her home is a beautiful place, but it's not fancy or elaborate, not like you'd expect a rich, well-to-do woman. It was just an ordinary middle-class type home. And
Wow.
she was born at home in a bedroom, which a
Hmm.
lot of women were in that day. Um,
Mm. But I
as
mean, that's really nice that she was kind of middle class. Just sounds like she's
right,
down to earth.
a real person. One of the neatest things about her, of course, growing up as she did, she wasn't super rich and had everything handed to her. So she understood the need to save money and be frugal and economize. So during World War I, when there was a shortage of everything, instead of having lawn workers working take care of the White House lawn, she brought in a herd of sheep to keep the lawn. And some of the people didn't like that, but it kept the lawn down. And then they ended up selling, I believe, around $10,000 worth of wool to help finance the American Red Cross in the war effort.
Wow.
So she
Wow.
was pretty smart.
Wow. Wow. What amazing history, to find. So I know you're going to have to talk about her on one of our women's history shows. I know
Oh,
it's coming.
definitely.
Definitely, now also there was a Wytheville Training School Cultural Center, and
That's another amazing
this is
woman.
so important, our
A
African
present
American
day,
history. Yeah,
right?
tell
This
everyone
this
about
is
this.
part of today's history. The lady there that at the training mission, and it was originally a school.
Hmm.
The school was obviously for black children, and the Patricia, what was her name?
Oh, I'm
Patricia.
looking at your article right now, everyone. Her, well, I'm looking at the wrong part now.
Okay,
Patricia Austin. But yeah,
right,
she is
Patricia
at
Austin.
at the cultural center.
She was
Yes.
the director there when we
Hmm.
visited, and she also lived part of this because when the
Mm.
segregation was put to an end and the black children were then allowed in white schools, she was one of the first girls to be
Mm.
bused to um,
An
the
integrated
segregated
school.
integrated school. So
Wow.
she's part of history.
Well, isn't this fascinating for you to go to there after? I know you went to Little Rock, where the Little Rock
Right.
Nine. Did you go to the high school? I mean, that's our only high
Yes.
school in a national park. That is a natural
Right,
functioning
that's
high
true.
school.
That was a fantastic trip too. That's the fun thing about being a travel writer. You get to travel back in history and
Yeah,
relive the
but you
times.
connect it, right? So these
Right,
stories all connect
right.
when you go to
And you come
places like
away
this.
learning something you didn't know before.
Hmm.
And like meeting Patricia Austin, I mean, that's a part of
That's,
history. And yet I'm sure as a kid, when she's on that bus, she didn't think of herself. She probably was scared. But she's a
yeah.
very nice lady. She does a great job at the training center. And it's
Mm.
not large, but it tells a huge hunk of history there. So
Ah,
it's
that is
something you
so
want to
cool.
go see when you're there.
Now, Wattsville First Doctor, there's a Heller Gibney Rock House that you can go
Right.
there, and
The
then
Rock House is the home of the first doctor. And
mm,
again, his children, his female ancestors, like I said, one of them was the one who saved the building by throwing a burning mattress out. And they all were remarkable women, then sort
mm,
of stepped out of the boundaries that were set for us in those timelines.
mm.
That one of them became a photographer, and another one was in the army. And
Wow.
they did things that most of women of that day didn't. One of his granddaughter was Frances Gibney, and she was a photographer. She was a woodworker and a taxidermist.
Mm.
And those, and that, I mean, even now you don't see many women taxidermists. And I don't
Right.
think Kathleen Ray Campbell, who was her daughter, she was the one who joined the army, became an occupational therapist, and she is the one who sold the Rock House to Whitfield with the stipulation it be used for a museum.
That's
So
cool. That's
yeah,
cool. I love
it's preserving
I
history.
I love going into these, like small town museums,
Hmm.
because you never know where it's going to connect to something else that you've been to. And I always feel like it's really good to go to these museums as like almost the beginning of your adventures, because then you
Right,
understand the backbone of the place, like
right,
like you were saying, like the bed and breakfast, you get a feel for what it was
right.
like to live there by staying in a
Yes. You
historic
become
inn.
a part of the town, not just a
Hmm.
tourist passing through. One of the
Yeah.
things that I learned there, and I'm a God, I gardening and butterflies and wildlife, as you know. And one of the places I visited was Beagle Ridge Herb Farm. And one of the things that they have there, and that's another woman that's helping run that, her and her husband's Ellen Reynolds. And one of their things is a flying butterfly house. And she took me in there. And I know we tag manatees here in Florida. We tag lots of wildlife
Hmm.
to know, learn about them, know where they're going and how long they're living. But I had no idea we tag monarch butterflies. Did you know that?
Hmm. Yes.
I never knew that.
That's how we know how they're going with their
Right,
migration. And
exactly. And she even
yeah.
caught one. She showed me how you hold them because I would be scared to touch a butterfly. That you hold it
Yeah.
between your index and middle finger so you don't injure them, and then they tag them, and
Mm.
it helps to learn about
I
butterflies.
had one land like we were out in the Pisco National Forest. This was
Hmm.
late summer going into fall. So the weather was changing. It was off the Blue Ridge Mountain Parkway.
That's a
Um,
beautiful area.
and we were going to this wildflower meadow that was just amazing. Blueberries, you could eat them. Wild blueberries were everywhere. And this meadow was just in mountain views, but it was actually getting really chilly and cold because of the
Hmm.
change. There were swallowtails everywhere, and the swallowtail came. I heard the swallowtail wings, and I looked it up thinking, you're nuts. You know, what planet it came, it like went over my head and like landed and then got up, but I could hear like I was just touched for a few seconds, but I heard the
Right.
wings. And I'm like, Lisa, you know, maybe had too much wine last night. What's going on? I looked
That's
it
an
up
amazing
and
feeling.
it's because it was colder and you can it just was so peaceful and quiet. We don't hear like we used to because of noise pollution.
No, we have
So
so
I
much
found
noise in
that,
cities.
yeah, that was really fascinating to me to be able to actually hear this butterfly.
I had
And
that Merritt Island Wildlife Center. One of the Florida blue jays, scrub jays, landed.
yes,
One landed on my hand, one landed on my head. It's such an amazing feeling. So I know how you felt about it.
that's just like, yeah, it's that, wow, that nature connection. Well, you also went on a wildlife safari, right?
I did. That is amazing also. Uh, the
Mm,
the safari there, you get to feed the animals. It's you're driving through in
you
a
saw a
car,
camel.
a vehicle, and one of them was really cute. It was a little ostrich. Um, didn't seem to like my camera. It was just pecking right at the thing, and I got a really close up shot of it. It's called Fort Chiswell Animal Park,
Uh-huh.
and
It was,
it was just fun. And they would you just dump it out, and we had a buffalo just sort of dump the cup full of food right into his mouth right there, and you're actually touching them. You're really in connection with them.
mm.
Funny.
So,
Another
so,
spot that's really
mhm.
great there is the Big Walker Outlook.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the uh, largest and the oldest, I think, outlook of its type in the country, still in the same family hands. And
Mm.
Heather, trying to remember her name
I've got
again.
Heather Kime. Yeah.
Right, Heather Kine is part from her family, and she takes you in there and shows you around. And if you're really ambitious, you can climb all the way up to the top. But I wasn't
Wow.
quite that
Didn't one of her
ambitious.
ancestors build it too?
Her great was it a great grandfather built
Wow.
it, or her husband's great grandfather built
Okay.
it,
Wow.
and
So it's this
you
massive
can
walk.
see right from 5 states. I mean, you're right on the brink of the Appalachians there, so it's beautiful country.
Well, this is, you say this is the highest point on the Big Walker Mountain National
Right,
Scenic Byway. So now I'm trying to figure out if I've done this byway or not. Um,
it's
maybe.
very close to the Blue Ridge
Okay. I think I've
Highway.
done it.
You may
It's
have been on it, yeah.
mm,
It's
was
beautiful
it pretty?
country.
Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like it. So, man, I just love the whole Appalachia area.
Right,
I could live in the Appalachians somewhere. I
it
mean,
is.
I love it. I absolutely love it, but because it is nature and history.
It
The
is.
other
It's
thing
such a combination.
I didn't want to forget back on the history subject is the Homestead Museum, the Jackson
Oh
Umberger
yes,
Homestead Museum,
that
because I love homesteading, to
yes.
find out how they lived back in the day,
You're
you
going
know?
through this, and it's the cabins that were actually preserved from that time, and it's all a living history. At certain times during the year, they have docents in costume, and it's there's 9 acres there, so you're going
No,
through quite a lot of history. That's called the
that's cool.
Jackson Umbra Homestead Museum.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, to be able to go and really learn and see what it was
You
like to live in there,
go
what the
in the
cabins are like.
cabins,
Yeah,
right?
cool. Did anybody dress up? I'm gonna go
Not
dress
when
up.
I was there, but there are times when they do.
Oh, okay,
Depending
cool.
on, if they're having an event or something, they would do. I was not there at that time.
About back to the
I did
animals. I
get
want
to
to hear.
meet
Okay,
Okay.
sorry.
I was gonna say,
Go
I
ahead.
did when I was going back to Edith Bowling Wilson, I did get to meet the reenactor who reenacts her, and you feel like you're really talking to Edith Wilson at that point. Betsy Ely is her name, and she is so good. She was
Mm,
dressed, of course, just as President Wilson's
mm.
wife would have dressed, and she just she's just into it. She's perfect in the part.
It's awesome. It makes history come alive, and I think that's the way
Mhm.
kids can connect
Oh
to
yes.
history. When you have those reenactors, for kids to learn history, because it's hard to teach history to kids. You can't just
Right.
do
And
dates. It
when
has
you're
to be a
seeing
story.
someone dressed like that in the character, then you really feel like you know that person. I mean,
Hmm.
whenever I think of Wilson and his wife, Betsy Ely is the face I'm going to see, not the real. It's just
Yeah,
because she's the one who made it real to me.
that's cool. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because of animals, we all
Oh
love animals
yes.
here, is the alpaca farm, Cobb Alpaca
Cobb
Farm. So
Alpaca Farm. That
how
is
much
so
fun.
fun there. And that's, of course, modern day. You get to go right up in. I got to pet them. None of them spit at me, so I guess they liked me.
I think it was
Um,
it's an alpaca photo you sent me. I think that I was thinking it's a camel, but they are related to camels.
they are related, yes.
Mhm,
Their fur is so soft. They're absolutely beautiful. There are dozens of them, and they were
mhm.
just very friendly and all wanting me to pet them.
Oh, well, I know you did, didn't you?
And I did.
Yep, of course you did. You know what? The spinning, we went on it was a llama trek that we did. We did a llama trek in the mountains once,
It's
and then
very similar.
in San Diego, and then we did, of course, we've hung out with alpacas, and then camels. Was photographing camels for a project, and
Mhm.
I got drooled on by the camels. And I love camels. I have a camel thing. And then we were doing it. It was in Yuma, Arizona, and we were going to. It was like a little media trip, and we went into the casino. And people smoke in the casinos, right?
Of course, you can't
You
breathe.
know that people could still smell the
This is a
camel
camel.
drool on me through the cigarette smoke in the
Yes.
casino. People
I
turned
had one.
around when I walked by, and it wasn't because I was looking good. It was camel drool that I couldn't get off of me, but I smelled like camels.
I got to ride
So,
one in Jordan for about 45 minutes, which was, I would not have traded
oh
that
yeah,
for anything, but I don't think I want to do it again. They're a
I
little
know.
different than horseback riding.
Yeah, it's a little different, but they're the ships of the desert. Now, one of the things that I really love too is you said that there's a lot of public art in Wytheville. I still want to say Wytheville, but Wytheville, I'm getting it.
Yes.
But and I've got a mural behind me. Is
The
that your
mural,
lady that
that is Edith Bowling Wilson. It depicts her whole lifetime. That it's in an alley, and it's on two sides, and there's some portraits. You can just walk through the alley and see from when she's a young child on into when
Mhm.
she's first lady.
Okay. This is cool. Now, is it mostly murals through the
It's
town?
a continuing murals. They're each individual murals, but they're right next to one another. The whole
Mm.
alleyway, both sides of the alley.
And you got a
Oh,
lot of love signs too.
oh yes, there's four of them. They are
Well,
one of them.
Virginia's for lovers, right?
Right, Virginia's for lovers.
Oh,
There's one at the Walker Outlook up there. There's one at the Beagle Herb Farm. Um, no, I forget the other two are, but there's two other ones.
okay. Yeah. Well, downtown has to have it too.
Yeah,
I mean, it normally starts down there too. So you stayed at the Trinkle Mansion Bed and Breakfast. Again, everyone, this is very historic, but you also said that there's Bowling Wilson Hotel downtown to stay at, all very historic. And then the inn at Foster Falls. Now that's an inn at
that's
New River
new.
State Park.
Right, that's
I
brand
think I have
new.
been through this area now that I think of it.
Yes, it's Shane Terry is the CEO there. He's very helpful, takes you around, very, very good to
Mm,
work with. Um,
mm.
the inn at Foster Falls began. The whole town began as was a mill town, and when the mills closed up, and that's the only one that the Virginia State Parks actually owns a lodge at.
Mm.
And
Okay. So is this near New River Gorge? Because I went all through there and that kind of spans
it's
out.
It's not too far from it. It's part
Mhm.
of New River. It's part of the state park, but it's
Okay.
not.
Not the, yeah, the
Yeah,
national park, but
yeah.
it's going to be near because of the
It's
river.
very close, right? It follows the New
Mhm.
River, and that's one of our newest national parks.
Yes, it is. And you've also got, and hey, did you see that Chattanooga is the very first national park city? It happened just a few days ago.
Oh, I didn't realize that, and I've been there quite
Chattanooga,
a few
Tennessee is a
times.
new
I
national
love
park that's a
Chattanooga.
city. Yeah, it's,
The entire city.
yeah,
That's great.
it's,
That is
I'm
great.
gonna have to learn. I don't know if that means more of a heritage area. I haven't had time to really dig into it,
Yeah.
but I want to dig into that.
Well, there's so
Um,
much in Chattanooga with, Rock City and the Ruby
mhm.
Falls and the incline. Just riding that incline is amazing.
Well, people like the river out there too. River cities are always good. They're
Right. Yeah.
fun.
And the aquarium there is fantastic too.
No, I wanted to go back. We're going back to Wytheville. See, we
Oh,
we get
yes.
detoured. It's my
We
fault, but we
get,
were talking about
we get
national
off
parks.
track sometimes.
Yeah, well, when you travel around, this is what happens. You went to Wytheville, the KOA Holiday Campground, because I think this is really great. Um, because
Right.
they've got these wagons there too.
I didn't get to stay there, but it is such a neat campground. I would love to. If you don't have an RV, which if you have an RV or even a tent, it's a great
Mhm,
place to camp. But even if you don't, it has cabins, which are anything from rustic, primitive to everything
mhm,
you'd find at a nice hotel. And my favorite thing there was the Conestoga wagons. And it from the outside, it looks just like the old Western
mhm.
Conestoga
It's like
wagon.
glamping. You're glamping.
Right. It's glamping. And you have your own bathroom outside, not in the wagon, of course.
Well,
And
no,
there's a fire pit and there's a little patio. And it really would be like really stepping back in time staying in that. That would have been
I
lovely.
want to do it. I want to do that.
Yes.
That would be
Well,
fun. That would be fun to do.
talk
You
to
know,
Shane and I'm sure he'll help you do it because
okay.
it's a great place.
Now dining. So
Oh, dining.
wait a minute. You had wine. You went to Pedals.
Wine,
List.
beer.
Yeah, Seven Sisters Brewery, Seven Dogs Brew Pub,
Right,
um, West Wind Farm Vineyard and Winery.
right.
What is? Oh my gosh! Apparently, hot dogs at Skeeter's is a big deal.
Skeeter's is known worldwide for their hot dogs. And boy, don't let me have to pick a favorite because everyone is different. There's even a Peking restaurant, which you wouldn't think of having a Chinese restaurant. You wouldn't think it would
Yeah.
fit, but it's fantastic. The food's great and it's so bright and colorful.
Mm.
And
So okay, so Grays
everything.
on Main. So that's
Grace on Main is in the hotel. And the
okay.
hotel really pays homage to Edith Bolin Wilson. Uh, there's quite a few pictures of her around there. And then out on the lawn, there's a sheep commemorating the fact that she had sheep on the White House lawn.
Well,
And
you go, girl. Hey,
yeah, and the Seven
it's
Sisters Brewery and the
yeah.
Seven Dogs Brewery, uh, both are very neat. The Seven Dogs, the interesting thing about that when you're in there, and I'm an animal person, he was an animal rescuer and he has seven of his rescue dogs pictures and their little stories and the one cat who tends to rule the whole place. They're not
Oh,
in the brewery, but their pictures are all there.
oh, that's
And
cute,
of
man.
course they have food to go along with the beer. It's just hard to beat.
Hey, I like this. Petals Wine Bar. Okay. Oh, this is part of a florist and a gift shop.
Right. Petals began, she started as a florist and then branched out into opening the gift shop and now the wine tasting. And you can go in there and pick all sorts of wine. There were choices of whatever and very good food. I had the tomato bisque soup and it was really good.
Mm. Good food, wine, flowers. Can't beat that.
Can't beat it.
What and so the West Wind Farm Vineyard and Winery. So this is like an old wine farm, like
Right. It's
or
been in
grape
the
farm.
family for, I forget how many years, quite a few generations. I think about a
Mm.
100 years, he said.
Wow.
And again, you can taste the wine. You can go out and watch the vineyard, see them growing right out
Yeah.
there.
I like
And
it when you can have your wine outside.
right, they have a beautiful patio out there. You can sit
Mhm.
outside. It's
Mm.
such beautiful country. Why wouldn't you want to be outside there? That's the thing.
Well, and I'm also thinking, and I keep talking about this on shows, but it's really true. this year, road tripping is going to be very big back in the country right now. People are going to be
Hmm.
discovering their backyard for various reasons. Road tripping is huge this year. So I know over the summer, this is going to be something for people to look at for their summer travels. But I'm also going to say fall in Virginia is exceptional. So people
Beautiful.
should look at that too, for
Yeah.
their travels this year if they're road tripping and going around. So, the Grayson restaurant, that, and then okay, the Peking one is the Chinese restaurant, but
Right. Grayson
Grayson,
is in
the
in the
rest breakfast,
hotel.
yeah, no,
No,
Grayson,
oh,
and
I'm
then
sorry. No, Grayson is not. Gray's on Main is in the hotel.
yeah,
Grayson is a perfect spot for breakfast and it's very reasonably priced. It's a very typical restaurant like you would have
mm.
seen back in the 50s and 60s.
Oh,
And the
cool,
food is delicious. It's very fresh. I had
mm.
breakfast there. The eggs, delicious. And
Hey, and then pizza. You said this was like in the 1960s diner
right,
style. Oh,
pizza.
cool.
It's got pictures of Elvis on the wall, of course, and the real diner vibe. The red vinyl booths is
Oh,
just a
cool.
fun place. It
I know you'd
depending
like
on
that.
right,
Did,
whatever
did they have
you
a
you know,
jukebox?
they have a jukebox.
Yeah,
Gotta have a
important.
jukebox. Um,
Yeah.
Pretty much anything that you are in the mood for is there.
Mm. Wow. So you had a good time.
I did. I had a great time.
Is
I've
it a
been there
big, it seems
twice.
like a small town. It doesn't
It's a
seem like
small
it's,
town, but for a
mhm.
small town, there's so much. And the downtown theater has been restored too. So there's a real
Oh,
old time theater back like people
oh,
would have seen
cool.
in the 40s and 50s.
Wow. Wow. This is cool. This is cool. So, everyone, you can go see Katie's article. It's linked in the episode notes. It's up on blendradioandtv.com. But also, you can go to americanroads.net to keep up with Katie and her adventures. Also, go to visit Wytheville. See, I'm Wytheville.com, and that's Wythe, Wytheville.com. You can go there to plan your trip. But before you go, Katie, IFWTWA, the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association, and how we met you initially, you've been a member there for like how many years now, do you
Oh,
think?
about 10
Wow.
years.
Wow. That's really
It's
cool.
very helpful. It's the one organization that I've been in each of the three, the Inthwa, NATCHA, and SATA, and this is the one that I've stayed with because for
Mm,
me it gives the most. The press trips, of course, are a big thing.
mm.
Our convention this year is going to be in Lafayette,
You
Louisiana.
going?
Of course, I'm
I
from New
just
Orleans. I've got to go.
I know. I was thinking of you. I just interviewed Ben Berthelo from Left Travel Lafayette this
Oh yeah.
morning, and his interview. Everyone, it's up on. It aired on Tuesday. You can check it out at bigblendradio.com. And it just seems like you're gonna be. I know how big you are into music, but you're gonna be there during a
I,
massive Cajun Zydeco
I
music
have
festival.
been before to that one, and it is fantastic.
Oh,
It's the mute. You can't stand still.
but that's what he said. He says you'll put on some pounds, but you'll dance them
Right.
off.
You stand there and you've just got to move with that music. It's just it moves you.
And you're going to get good food, it sounds like.
Oh yes.
Oh,
You can't
man.
go wrong with Louisiana food.
No, you can't. And it's a
Boudin,
dangerous state.
andouille, gumbo, etouffee.
Boudin,
Oh yes. Can't go
Boudin is
wrong.
it. Oh, man, you're going to have a good time. So I'm glad you're going to that. We're going to be in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm like, I love both places, but it just sounds like you're all going to have a good time. Otherwise, we'd be there.
Well, I'll think about you while I'm there.
Well, please do have some
I'll have
Boudin
some
balls for
gumbo
me.
for you or something.
Yes, yes. And, have an
I'll
Abita
probably have a
beer.
glass of wine for you.
And I want an Abita beer.
Okay. I'll have a
I'm
hard cider.
okay. I miss the Abita beer. I used to like having that out and, just nice and,
Mhm.
summer beer is good, but enjoy the music and the Atchafalaya swamp. I know you're gonna see the swamp, right? If you go
I'm
out
going to
there.
take the swamp tour. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
I
knew
think
you
on
would.
a pre-tour, which I know
Mhm.
which pre-tour I want. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it. I'm going to go do the swamp tour.
Well, you go have fun. You
I
have
will.
fun. Everyone, to learn more about the convention, which or the conference coming up through International Food Wine Travel Writers Association, no matter what you are in the food, wine, and tourism industry, this is an organization for you to check out. You're all welcome, even if you're not a member. Go to IFWTWA.org. But of course, you're going to want to become a member because I think it's, why not?
That's fine. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Thank you so much, Katie. Always fun chatting with you.
Thank you, Lisa. It's fun with you also. enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio's Food, Wine, and Travel Show, featuring members of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. We